All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna have some fun tonight. That's right, baby. We're going to enjoy ourselves. We're going to talk about some stuff that might be controversial, but necessary but controversial. I'm trying to get the background fixed here, ladies and gentlemen. If you could just bear with me with some bear claws. Anyways, I hope and pray that everybody's having a safe, blessed, joyous, and wonderful morning, day, night, evening. No matter who you are, no matter who you're with, I hope there's nothing but peace, joy, and prosperity in your heart, baby, because we know that that's what matters the most. And I just want to say this right now. I got to post something really quick. I got to say something because I couldn't help myself. You guys know that I'm a massive Dusty Rhodes mark. I think Dusty is hands down um, one of, if not the greatest promo in the history of pro wrestling. So I came across this really odd interview. And I'm sorry, but I just got to post it. So here we go.
Well, my gorilla's a little bit more than just a ordinary gorilla. He's a bad gorilla. And there's some inside him that might be a little bit human. So it's going to be a big surprise in the Omni. The Keenan Ivan Koloff World title against Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream, and a full-blooded American gorilla, brother. And there will be gorilla shit all over the Omni.
I'm just kidding, guys. But honestly, that's just a fun promo. A fun promo outtake by the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, baby. Absolutely amazing as always. And he's you talk about shit, like the guy, he can take chicken shit and turn it into chicken salad. I will always have nothing but the utmost love and respect for Dusty Rhodes, baby. And I gotta say, from the bottom of my heart, for the individuals that contacted me after my last show, I do appreciate it. I do love you, and which it blows me away, because I know sometimes, guys, it's difficult to be to admit that you're wrong about certain things, which it's difficult to really come out and be truthful about things that you're not necessarily comfortable about, because of the whole thing with that, like, you set a specific narrative that you're hoping for people to for them to follow. So I just want to say it felt good to get that all off of my chest, and for the individuals that contacted me and said that saying that they appreciated what I said, I just want to say thank you. I do appreciate it. I love the fact that it's that sometimes it, you know what, which I'm tongue tied right now, which I just want to say, just honestly, thank you. And there's certain individuals that have reached across the aisle, so to speak, and they've been willing to give me a new chance, I guess you could say. So it's awesome. It really is. So I just want to say thank you for that. And which with my last show, I was going to be speaking about my trip to Pittsburgh, which I had last month, which it was absolutely freaking phenomenal. But unfortunately, I got really caught up with talking about certain subjects, and quite frankly, I just didn't get to it. So guess what, baby? I'm here right now to talk about it. But also, there's a lot of things that have been going on in the world. The midterm elections, just so many things. Like the World Series, football, hockey, basketball, you name it. We got just no Nutty Buddy November. And you guys are thinking, Chris, no Nutty Buddy November. You damn right. No Nutty Buddy November, ladies and gentlemen. As a matter of fact, I'm going 10 days strong. I hope everybody that's going to be giving up something for this month is able to go 30 days strong, 40 days strong, whatever it takes. Just do it, ladies and gentlemen, because I know for me, Nutty Buddies, that's one of my weaknesses. So no Nutty Buddy November, baby. 10 days strong, and I'm a third of the way there. Because you guys know, which I've shared this, which I'm trying to diet, baby. I'm trying to better myself. I'm trying to make myself a better human being, mentally, physically, and spiritually. And this is one of my weaknesses right here. So hashtag no Nutty Buddy November. And I know there's going to be some people out there thinking, Chris, what the fuck is up with you? Because, this is a play on the whole thing with another hashtag, which I'm not going to say on the air. But yeah, guys, no Nutty Buddy November. Going 10 days strong. So with that said, which I'm recording on the 10th right now because it's past midnight. And on the 8th, I had the opportunity and the privilege to go out and vote here in South Carolina. And for me personally, I am extremely proud of the results. I'm extremely proud of like the Gen Zers out there. I'm extremely proud of like the Latino population. I'm extremely proud of the individuals that stood up and let their voices be heard, because this is the thing, guys. There are thousands upon thousands of men and women that have sacrificed for your right for you to vote. Now, the thing about it is that you might have feelings on one side of the aisle and you might have feelings on the other, but ultimately what it boils down to is whether you choose to accept it or not. We are all on the same boat here, guys. Okay, so I hear people all the time saying, I can't stand our current leader because of certain views he has. Sleepy Joe, this, that, the other. Well, let's go Brandon, this, that. The God honest truth, guys, is ultimately we're Americans. We need to stick together and we need to have that common bond and like that common view, because this is the thing. Wanting someone like him to fail is like you walking up to someone that's steering the ship, shooting them right in like the back of the head, and no one else knows how to drive a ship or a plane. I'm just saying it makes no sense because you're headed towards disaster. Now, the thing is like I said, you're which I'm still going to have some people that say to me, Chris, still don't like them no matter what you say, because I'm set in my views. I'm set in my perspectives, and there's nothing that you can change about that, which I respect that. And that's your choice. And that's the beautiful part about being an American, is you get the right to let your voice be heard through things like social media, voting, you name it. There's so many ways for you to express how you feel through this wonderful grand experiment called democracy. And I'm just so proud once again of record numbers, like with the midterms, when it comes to like the Gen Zers, showing up, like the Latino population showing up, just letting their voices be heard. And it's just absolutely amazing, because ultimately they're the ones that swung this to where it's at right now. Right as it stands, I believe the Republicans are going to be taking the House, and I believe that the Senate is going to be still maintained by the Democrats. So ultimately, the red wave that was predicted was more of like a trickle. And the thing about it is that I think the main issue that really swung things for like the Democrats, that really got people pissed off to where they decided to vote whenever like they normally wouldn't vote during these midterms, which, by the way, it's just as important for you to vote like within these midterms as it is like the regular national for like a president. So basically, and this is the thing, you could take it how you'd like, because I know some people, they're going to get offended by me saying this, but it's the God honest truth. If they would have never done what they did with Roe v. Wade, and for the individuals that don't know what Roe v. Wade is, it is the right for a female to have an abortion. And basically it is a big thing where a woman has a right to choose to do what she feels is right for her, and what is appropriate for her reproduction, for her body. And quite frankly, like I said, I've given my views on it. I personally feel like, with the exception of rape, incest, or the mother's life being like within danger, those are the only exceptions to where I will be okay with it. Because I understand there's certain times where women, they have to live with that. And like the thing about it is that I don't think it's appropriate for like the super duper extreme right side that are holier than thou for them to say, hey, we're going to force you to do this. And it's funny. And like, for me, honestly, I would be more understanding of why they feel the way they feel if they wouldn't do things like vote against social safety net programs, because like the majority of the women that have to deal like with these issues, which unfortunately they are in a situation to where it is a where they're more often than not, like, they're struggling financially. So you bring in like another baby like into like this world, then it's going to be more expensive. So like the thing is that so if you're going to be for the birth and you're going to force women to give birth no matter what, then you should be in support of them having access to healthcare, them having access to things like food stamps, WIC, housing, all that stuff. Because guess what? How do you think the kids are going to be raised? And I know, like like the conservatives, they have a really shoddy record when it comes to voting to cut funding for those programs. And unfortunately, the individuals, especially in like the poorer states like mine, which is South Carolina, they have a tendency to be duped by a lot of by like a lot of like these politicians that speak about guns and Jesus, and they think, well, because they talk about those two subjects, then they're clearly for me. When in actuality, their record speaks to the contrary. So it's unfortunate that there's so many people out there that are easily swayed because of certain certain buzzwords and certain buzz subjects, and like they're not willing to expand their view. And which I know you're thinking, oh, Chris, man, you're just kissing the ass of like the Democrats. No, I'm not. Because honestly, which if you guys were to pay attention to like my tweets and like a few shows which I've done, I've been extremely disappointed like with the way that the Democrats have handled things. They've had control of basically everything, and they've done very little like with what they've had within power. Which no, don't get me wrong, Biden, he's accomplished a few things, but unfortunately, like I said, when it comes to putting your foot down on certain things that need to have your foot down on, sometimes you can't play nice. You gotta put your foot down, and you just like a good parent. You got to put your foot down on certain things for the benefit of your children. Some people might not agree with it, but like within like the grander scheme of things, it will benefit everybody. But unfortunately, like I said, like the Democrats, when they've had these opportunities, they've basically rolled over, and they've said, fuck it, why bother? And unfortunately, that frustrates me. And like the God honest truth, the liberals, you have a very good opportunity right now for you like to get stuff done, more than what you've done. And this is the thing, you need to grow a backbone and put your foot down when it's necessary, because guess what? Certain people are not going to listen to you regardless of what you say. So you need to be willing to put your foot down and say, hey, I don't give a damn what you feel. This is what's going to happen, and this is how we're going to do it, because ultimately there's a lot of people out there hurting that could really use this, because it's just so frustrating, because historically the conservatives, they are very easy to manipulate poor, less educated people to vote for them, and they promise them the world. They really, really do. And they give them crumbs. That way they'll still stick around, but ultimately, like, they rarely, if ever, fulfill half, if not three-quarters of what they promise. And it upsets me, especially like with the liberals, because that's how they're acting right now. So it's time, guys. You got a great opportunity. You had like the Gen Zers speak up. You had like the Latino people speak up. You had women speak up saying, hey, this is not the world. This is not the country that we want to live in, because guess what? We want to live in a country where women have more rights than guns do. And for the same people out there that want to criticize me, I'm going to tell you this right now, that if you're so pro these kids, which I am too, I want all kids to be happy and healthy, but ultimately safe. So if you're cool with the whole thing, like with being like the pro-life and these kids being born no matter what the circumstances, then vote for regulations to where like these kids have a safer school environment. Okay, meaning when it comes to things like the whole gun issue, like the automatic weapons, I'm sorry, I don't give a damn who you are, with the exception of someone that is in the military, that is facing a huge conflict that involves many individuals to where they are outnumbered. There is no excuse for automatic weapons to be owned by a civilian. I don't care who you are, period. Shotguns, handguns, whatever. I don't care. Like, that's fine. Go for it. But ultimately, if we have situations where we have multiple school shootings per month, and that in a good chunk of it, it's with these automatic weapons, which are easily accessible. And you have to identify the kids by their shoes or their hair or just dental records, then we have a problem, ladies and gentlemen. So I just want to say this too, that the whole thing, like with the theory, oh, good guys with guns always beat bad guys with guns. Clearly, like with the Uvalde, you had literally over 400 personnel, law enforcement, that showed up while there was a lunatic gunning down children. And it took them almost 90 minutes for them to take control and to kill the piece of shit. So I just want to say, spare me that fucking discussion with that, because guess what? You won't convince me otherwise, because clearly their own interests were more important than saving those children right away. And don't give me this shit, oh, well, like the chain of command and this and that. I don't give a fuck. Those children did not deserve to have that done to them. I don't give a fuck what you say. It is what it is, because this is the thing, which normally what happens is, and with like the politicians, a lot of them is normally they don't give a fuck about a certain issue until something happens to someone they greatly care about. And then it opens up their eyes to where they're like, wait a minute, maybe we need to do something about this. Why does it take that with so many people on both sides? Why does it take that? I don't understand it. So this midterm was not only a fight for women's rights, but it was a fight for freedom. It was a fight for democracy. And by God, my son's generation, I'm so proud of you guys. You're gonna let your voices be heard. I'm so proud of you, and you let it be heard loud and clear. So, best case scenario, we're gonna be able to get things done. Worst case scenario, gridlock. Bottom line, when it comes to things that these not all, which I don't dislike all conservatives, really quick, I don't, because my best friend, he is a Republican. We get along fine, but there's a difference between that version, which he's more of like a Mitt Romney type, and the far extremists that believe in like the QAnon bullshit, like the celebrities drinking the blood of children and Pizzagate and this and that, which is complete bullshit and nonsense. Oh, and these same people that believe in JFK, he's going to return and be the running mate with Trump in 2024. Well, I think with Trump, the rose is all the bloom. Sorry, the bloom is off the rose because the majority of the Trump endorsed candidates got demolished in these midterms, which tells me not only are groups of people fickle and they go like with a shiny new toy, which like the new shiny toy is Ron DeSantis, which he completely demolished within Florida. Which I pray for, like the people of Florida, that they're happy like with their decision and that it really benefits them. Which I've heard to like the contrary, that he really just cares about benefiting like the rich. But I don't live there, so I can't make that judgment call. So, but I know in South Carolina here, it was the governor that was up for re-election, McMasterson, whatever the hell he is. He's been in office, I believe, for the past 12 years. Hold on. Sorry, guys. Henry McMaster. There you go. And he was a former lieutenant governor whenever Nikki Haley was here. The former South Carolina Attorney General, and he's been in office for like a while, which unfortunately he's promised like a whole bill of goods and like a whole great thing like to transform South Carolina, but unfortunately we rank bottom of the barrel. Like we are, which I believe we are in like the 40s within like schooling, like the 40s within jobs, like this, like the 40s when it comes to the infrastructure, everything. There's maybe 6 or 7 states that are worse off than us. And the thing about it is that it's kind of like, I see it like this. It's similar to like, okay, so you got someone that has a gaping wound. Okay. Like they need stitches right away because like you're going to risk infection. Like it might be gangrene. Hell, like you might like a leg wound within like the leg. Hell, like you might lose your leg. But unfortunately, you got people that say, well, instead of going to the hospital, here's some Band-Aids. Here's some Band-Aids, buddy. Just cover that shit. And you keep putting Band-Aids on it, but guess what? Like the leg starts to get worse. It starts to blacken. It starts to severely get infected to the point that you're thinking to yourself, maybe I do need to go to the hospital. But then it gets to the point to where the infection, it travels up your leg and it goes to your heart, and then it eventually fucking kills you. So this is what I don't understand. You got people that continuously vote against their own personal interests because of these buzzwords, Jesus and God and this and that, and getting rid of the immigrants and this. I mean, just so many ignorant things. And South Carolinians, I'm sorry, but what's it going to take for the majority of you to realize the conservatives down here do not give a shit about you? They are clearly using you to put them in office so they can line their pockets and so they can do their deeds. They're going to distract you with this hand while they're doing something else with the other hand. Okay. That's what I don't understand. Why so many people do that. Don't get me wrong. on the Democratic side, there's a lot of that shit going on, especially like with the fucking corporate Democrats. You look at Gavin Newsom, which I'm going to say this real quick, because I don't stick up for conservatives very, very often because of my ideological differences. But when it comes to like the state of California, when I see people like Gavin Newsom putting tweets out there that things are going great in California and this and that, like with like the prosperity and like wage increases and shit like that, it aggravates the piss out of me because my brother lives there. He's lived there for 20 fucking plus years. He's got a $400,000 house, a $600,000 house, whatever. He has a very expensive home in San Diego, California. Like, my brother's been serving in the Navy for over 20 years. Tell me that things are going good whenever he has a $500,000 home and there's a homeless community right down the street lined up with tents and needles all over the fucking road. Don't tell me that things are going great, because you're full of shit. I'm sorry, but you are. The fact is that California is a great example of socialism to the max. If you guys want to see a completely socialist country, look at California. They're the prime example of when you go way too far to the left, whenever you go to the extreme. And like my brother, it is so frustrating for him because he pays taxes out of the ass and he barely ever sees anything that benefits him personally, which it's not fair. Don't get me wrong. The more you make, the more you should invest. I do agree with that. Like the more taxes you should pay in, but you should see some kind of return on that. And unfortunately, especially with California, you don't see it. Hell, which I encourage people, look at go on YouTube. Probably like the worst community in California that displays how sad things are. Because like I said, there's either you are wealthy or you are poor. There's no such thing as a middle class there. Go on YouTube and look up a area of San Francisco. It's called the Tenderloin. Absolutely, it is so unbelievably sad. And the thing about it is that I have people that say to me, well, Chris, you don't know what they're going through. And you're right, which I don't. But something I do know is it doesn't help whenever you have the majority of those individuals struggling with heroin addiction, fentanyl addiction, crack, coke, meth, and you have city officials walking up to them and handing them fresh needles and handing them samples of the drugs, and which I know some people, they're gonna be like, that's bullshit. Fact check that shit. The city of San Francisco literally hands out drugs to people. They literally hands out needles to people, and they expect things to get better. They're not going to get fucking better. You're putting a band-aid on a fucking stab wound. So don't think that I'm just shitting on the conservatives, guys, because guess what? Just as shitty as things are here in South Carolina, they're even shittier in California when things are done to the extreme. That's why you have to find like a happy medium. You really, really do. And unfortunately, you have those officials out there that are way too extreme. Hell, even like within my lifetime, we had Republicans and Democrats that actually were worth a damn, that they could come together and work shit out. Now it is a tribalistic mentality to where you are either on this side or you're on that side, and that's it. There's no point in listening because like my mouth's covered, like my fucking eyes are covered, and so are my ears. Fuck you. I don't care. I'm not going to do this. It's, guys, nothing's going to get done and nothing's going to get better if you're not willing to open up your fucking ears and be fucking open-minded. Nothing's going to get done to get better. And like I said, my best friend in this whole entire world, which is Tim Giuliani. He's a diehard Republican. And I get along with him perfectly fine because he's willing to be able to listen. Now, don't get me wrong. There's certain things he does not refuse to. He doesn't agree with, but he'll listen. And like the same goes for me, which I'm willing to listen. And I got like my brother. I got like my which like my brother John. He is a progressive like me, and we agree on certain on many things. But he also supports certain Republicans as well, and that doesn't cause me and him to have like a rift, because we have enough respect for each other to understand that based off of our circumstances and what we're going through, like within our life with where we live, that those circumstances are dictated partially by like the people in office and what you're going through like within life. So I understand that. And hell, I mean, you guys know that I'm a Christian. My other brother, which is Justin Nedro, he's a Buddhist monk. And we get along perfectly fine. So, guys, I'm gonna let you know it's okay to associate like with people that don't necessarily have the exact same values or the exact same views as you. It's okay. That's what this country was founded on. Like, we are such a beautiful melting pot of different ethnicities, of like just different views, just different perspectives. Like, we're just such a wonderful, beautiful melting pot that I wish we would have more open-minded people. And just seeing like the Gen Zers in my son's age group brings me so much joy, so much happiness, and really hope. It gives me hope that the world isn't as bad off as it seems, because as we get older, we have a tendency to be more of a pessimist on things. And I just want to say, I mean, which I'm pretty happy right now. I am. So I just want to say thank you to the Gen Zers. Thank you to the Latino population like that showed up and showed out and let your voices be heard. And thank you so much for everybody like that showed up, regardless of what side you're on. The fact that you voted shows that you care enough. You care enough when it comes to this nation that you want to let your voice be heard. So that is awesome right there, because once again, hundreds of thousands of men and women, if not millions, have sacrificed so you can have that right, so you can have that privilege. So don't take it for granted. And just to let you know, which if you didn't vote because you don't feel that it counts, and you still want to bitch, I'm just gonna tell you this right now: shut the fuck up. Seriously, just shut the fuck up, because you clearly threw that away. Even if you are in like an extremely red state like mine or like a blue state, and you feel different to what the majority does, still let your voice be heard. Because hell, did I expect the Democrats to take the governorship here? I did not at all. But I still went out. I still voted. So with that said, I'm going to show. This is an exclusive, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to show my ballot from me voting on the midterms a couple days ago. And there's going to be some familiar names on here, actually. So here we go, guys. Here we go. Go here. All right. So, Horry County statewide general election. C. Oates number 2. That's the area that I went to. So I went to like a local church here, which it was the First Baptist Church in Myrtle Beach. And I went into like the gym, and you talk about the irony of the separation of church and state there. Anyways, which I'm not the type of person where I vote straight party, because for me personally, yes, I am mainly mainly a liberal. Yes, I am mainly a progressive, but the older that I've been getting, like the more that I'm focusing on not the party, but the people. So I voted for Joe Cunningham, which is a Democrat here. His main thing was affordable health care, the legalization of marijuana, making it to where you can have where single mothers basically vouchers for daycare. I mean, just so many great things that he wanted to do, like a $15 minimum wage. He really wanted to help out, but unfortunately, like I said, you have a lot of people out there that love those buzzwords and that just they'll vote straight party no matter what, because that's what they are conditioned for. So, which it's unfortunate. And the same people that want to bitch that their food stamps they're being cut, they voted for that. So, I mean, just saying, guys. Anyways, because it's like you shooting yourself directly in the foot saying, motherfucker, this hurts, but I'm going to do it anyways because that's what I know. Just because that's what you know doesn't mean that that's what's best for you. But anyways, here we go. I voted for the Secretary of State, which was Democrat Rosamunda Peggy Butler, a sweet lady, which I actually met her. She shopped at my store. And she basically went down the line like with how basically a similar format to what Mr. Cunningham was running. The state treasurer, because I know Mr. Wangland, he's phenomenal with money. Because you all know, the fans of John know that John owns 46 houses. He's got 32 cars. I mean, absolutely. Oh yeah. Not to mention, he owns the world record for the most downloads ever. So Joe Rogan, thank you for paying. Wait, hold on. Thank you for accepting the fact that John's the man, because I know, Rogan, you paid John to retire because you were embarrassed by the numbers. I understand, my friend. And if the individuals that are hearing this are too damn stupid to see that this is sarcasm, then I feel sorry for you. The Attorney General, I voted for Mr. Mike Durbin because I feel like Mike, he could take care of business and get shit done. For the Comptroller General, Mr. Karrion Kross, I think that he could kick ass and take names doing that. The Superintendent of Education, I voted for Lisa Ellis. And once again, back to my old point. When it comes to the education here, it is downright pathetic. And the fact is that we are way behind the majority of the country. And they did research and they discovered that on average, when it comes to the average senior in South Carolina, they are on the level of a freshman in the majority of the country. So like they're way behind on their schooling here. So I was hoping maybe that would help, but it is what it is. And the commissioner of agriculture, I voted in my brother, Charles Martin Jr. I think he could kick ass. He could take names. And he's pretty good with the plants. He's pretty good with making things look pretty. So you know what? I'm voted him in. Anyways, U.S. Senate, I voted for Miss Crystal Matthews. Once again, absolutely focused, wanting to kick ass, wanting to take names, wanting to take South Carolina forward within a manner of where it's recognizable that it's 2022, not this crap to where we're stuck in like the 1950s to where only rich white males get ahead. Unfortunately, we're still stuck in that. Here we go. We got Daryl W. Scott. So like the House of Representatives, like for District 7. Absolutely, which I have met that gentleman as well. Nice guy. Similar format to Mr. Cunningham. When it comes to the House of Representatives, District 107, which I did like a write-in, once again, I think Jesus Christ would be amazing, perfect at it. As a matter of fact, he was the perfect person, like the perfect human being. So who better than Jesus Christ? The Solicitor Circuit 15, Rick James. I was thinking about talking to Jesus, getting Rick James reanimated, brought back to life, and Rick could be the solicitor because he's got a good way with words, especially the freaks out there, the super freaks. So Rick James would have been awesome. The probate judge. Since this man loves to pass judgment on everybody because he thinks he's Jesus, he thinks he's perfect. Kanye West, ladies and gentlemen. I voted for Kanye West because I feel like Kanye, if the rehabilitation of your image is going to start, it's going to start now, being the probate judge. So the next one was the county council chair. I wrote in Bob Dole. I think Bob Dole is absolutely phenomenal. I'll be blunt with you. I don't know whether he's still alive or still dead. But I thought Bob Dole was awesome because Bob Dole spoke in third person a lot. Bob Dole, Bob Dole, Bob Dole. And that always brought a smile to my face. Anyways, the County Council District 2, Mitt Romney. I think, honestly, especially like with the Conservative Party, Mitt Romney is probably one of the few that, in my opinion, that still have somewhat a view of reality when it comes to the way this country is within like the Conservative Party. So I love Mitt Romney. I think that he's a stand-up guy. He's a jam-up guy, guys. There you go. Soil and Water District Commission, Glenn Wilburn. Yeah. Jam-up guy. Glenn Wilburn. Board of Education Chair, Ray Lewis. This man could motivate. He can motivate a blind man to run through a brick wall. This man is a two-time Super Bowl champion, a multi-time defensive player of the year, one of the greatest inside linebacker of all time. This man is a man of God, a man of purpose, a man of motivation, a great dad, a great husband, a great everything. We need Ray Lewis, baby. So I voted for Ray Lewis. And the Board of Education for District 2, Lamar Jackson, ladies and gentlemen, I voted for him because guess what? He's been educating every single person out there that's doubting him. That guess what? He's the real deal like Holyfield, and that he can get the job done. So I think Lamar would be phenomenal in that position. And plus on top of that, I just love Lamar. So, and I know that there's some people that are like, oh my God, Chris, this is stupid, and you're just randomly picking people. Well, the majority of the conservatives, they just pick random people. So why can't I have the same fun? Hell, you guys voted in a reality TV show host that's been bankrupt a whole bunch of times, has been divorced. I believe it's 3 times already. 2-3 times. Don't quote me on that. And yet you have so many Christians out there that think that he's the second coming of Christ. I swear to God, there's a difference between supporting somebody and worshiping somebody. And not all Trumpers, but a good chunk of them fucking worship the man. He can literally take a shit in the middle of Times Square, and there would be thousands of people fighting over who's going to get it. And then the person that gets it, Trump will say, eat it. And they'll gladly say, yes, fearless leader, I will eat the shit. So yes, I'm sorry, but there's a difference. For me, do I support Joe Biden? Yes. Do I recognize he's human? Yes. Is he doing a great job? For the most part, yes. But he is fucking up on certain things. And that I recognize that, which I support him, but I don't worship him. And with some people out there, it drives me nuts because no matter what the fearless leader's done, They will always justify it, spin it, and make excuses. And nothing gets fixed that way. So, like I said, there's bullshit on both sides. So don't think that I'm strictly shitting on the conservatives. There was 2 amendments, which basically it was to have a tax increase for things like the road, schooling, and all that. And then there was the Horry County school sales tax, which is going to be raised by 1%. So I voted for that because I feel like they should invest more in the schools. Because, like I said, like my dad raised me to believe, hell, which I know this, your education is something that you will always have, and no one will take it from you, and that's something that you will take everywhere with you. So if you're given like a poor education, then ultimately that will limit where you can go. So also that will open up things within your life to where you have a higher tendency to go along with a lot of what people say or do, whether it's good or bad. So people that are lesser educated, which unfortunately they don't have as many opportunities and they're more easily manipulated, which is unfortunate because there's a lot of good people out there. So that was my general election voting. So for like the midterms, I hope you guys enjoyed it. So here we go. All right. So I'm going to be speaking about something else too. This is fun. I'm going to do like a new segment for my show. It's called Tweet and React, or reacting to tweets. I don't fucking know yet about baptized tweets. I don't fucking know. Anyways, I'm gonna figure out what to call it, and like we're gonna just go from there. Oh yeah, and by the way, this is one of the dumbest fucking things I've ever seen. And for people out there, if your state has this, please let me know, because I don't know how the hell you can vote more than once because of the way like the system is set up. That's unless you have like a fake ID machine. I don't understand it. It's damn near impossible to vote twice. I'm not saying that it's impossible, but would somebody please be able to explain me how you vote twice? So we have these signs up at all of our polling stations. It's called saying voting more than once is a felony. And upon conviction, a person must be fined not less than $1,000 nor more than $5,000, and in prison not more than 5 years. Okay, so they couldn't just say less. This is South Carolina, but anyways. So yeah, so just to let you know that if you guys vote twice here in South Carolina, you're going to be going to prison for less than 5 years. And you're going to be fined no more than $5,000. I'm sorry. I'm trying to keep a straight face here. So, oh yeah. Plus we had a sign before, like we walked in, telling people, do not have firearms on you. I'm sorry. This is fucking hilarious. So yeah, I got like a few things to talk about more, and then I'll get into like my trip to Pittsburgh. So, all right. So tweet and react. Like we're gonna have some fun here. And there's a guy. He's a massive supporter of Trump. Some of you guys might be a fan of his. He calls himself the American badass, Mr. Kid Rock. If methamphetamines and herpes had a baby, this would be the result of it. Anyways, Mr. Kid Rock, he posted a tweet that just tickled my fancy, And just the hypocrisy is hilarious. So let me read it off here. It says, Oprah helped Dr. Oz with his career, which I assume because she vetted him and found him to be a wonderful person. Now she is against him. Oprah is a fraud. Okay, so first off, Oprah, this lady, is the prime example of what the American dream is. She's grown up dirt poor. She's been a victim of poverty, sexual assault, racism, you name it. And guess what? That woman has defied the odds, and which I believe right now she is the richest black woman in the whole world. And rightfully so, because she's earned that position, because she's been truthful, she's been honest, she's been upfront with who she is. And the thing about it is that, no offense, but if it wasn't for Oprah, Dr. Oz wouldn't be shit. She's the one that was able to put him on television. She was the one that gave him a platform. The same goes for Dr. Phil, which shout out to Dr. Phil. He's awesome. So this is the thing. With most relationships, the longer you spend time with somebody, like the more you get to know about them. And like the more you get to know about them, sometimes you grow closer and sometimes you grow apart. This is the thing, like with Oprah and Oz. The more that was revealed with the perspectives that Oz has when it comes to like his views on politics, maybe that pushed Oprah in the opposite direction, because maybe he wasn't the man that she thought he was. And she's entitled to that. So is he. He's entitled to believe what he wants. She's entitled to believe what she wants. And the fact is that we all have the ability to change our minds on people. And we all have the ability to say, hey, this person isn't who I thought they were, so I'm going to distance myself from them. Not that I want bad on them, but I'm just going to love them from a distance. And I feel like it's a situation like with Oprah right now, like with Dr. Oz, which, by the way, Oprah, she endorsed, it was Mr. Fetterman from like the state of Pennsylvania. It was a Senate race in Pennsylvania. And this is how classy the extreme conservatives are. They were making fun of Mr. Fetterman because he's a stroke victim, and they were comparing him to the monster from the Goonies. They were saying that he's slow, he's mentally challenged, he's this, he's that. The guy's a fucking Harvard graduate, and he's been in this game for like a long time, and he's made a huge difference in the lives of many people, especially from the state of Pennsylvania. Fact check that shit, look it up. Dr. Oz, on the other hand, the man, he committed one of the ultimate sins, especially in Pittsburgh. He wished the Steelers good luck for their game. The problem with that was that it was a bye week. How dare you wish a team good luck on their bye week? Because this is the thing. You clearly don't pay attention, and you clearly don't know the schedule of the team that you're mentioning. So if you clearly don't care enough to even check the fucking schedule, why should I trust you to care enough to check in on me? You're not going to. You're not going to give a shit. You're just going to use me so you can get your agenda done for what you want. Which of course, which I'm joking on the whole thing, like with the Steelers guys. He did really wish them well on their bye week. I ain't kidding you. But the thing is that like with Oz, he was a hand-chosen candidate by Trump that was meant to steal the state. That way they can get the national, the agenda done within the Senate. So this is the thing, guys. Oz had no business running for office, period. The guy, extremely unpolished, extremely just not even qualified. And the fact is, he's not even a true fucking Pennsylvanian. The guy's from Jersey. Look it up. So, oh yeah, Speaking of stuff being stolen, which I'm going to get back to the Kid Rock thing, guys. I'm sorry, I'm going off on like a little sidebar here. Speaking of like the whole stolen thing, I just want to say this right now for all the people that are the election deniers that say, hey, 2020 was stolen. Well, logically speaking, okay, so let's say it was stolen, which it wasn't. Why would you go vote during the midterms? Because if you don't trust the system that much, then why would you continuously take a chance on it? It goes back to my point, shooting yourself in the foot over and over and expecting different results. You got that hole in your fucking foot, like you're bleeding out, but it's all right. Which I think this is a hoax and bullshit, but I'm still going to do it. Guys, it makes no sense. Do you see what I'm saying? Well, when it comes to the lesser educated people that are easily manipulated and just randomly believe whatever their party spouts out. It boggles my mind. It really, really does. So this is the thing, and this is the God honest truth, and you can look it up. It's called fact check, guys. Oh yeah, and like to quote a conservative commentator, facts don't care about your feelings. So this is the deal. You can look it up. The 2020 election results were brought to court over 60 times, 60, by Trump-appointed lawyers and brought in front of Trump-appointed judges. And every single time it was shown as bullshit because there was no concrete proof that there was any election fraud. So just to let you guys know. So believe what you want because I know you're going to. Just please, with like the midterms, take it as a lesson that the majority of Americans are tired of the bullshit. They're tired of the nonsense and like they're tired of like the conspiracy theories with QAnon and the bullshit. They're tired of it, guys. So please use this as an opportunity not to hate, not to stir, not to simmer. Say, hey, why do they feel this way? Let me try to meet them where they're at and say, hey, why do you feel this way? And maybe that can help me evolve my understanding and my perspective on why they feel this way. But anyways, back to Kid Rock. So basically, like with freaking Kid Rock, the whole thing like that fucking aggravates me is that he wants to call Oprah disingenuine and a fraud, a fake, a hypocrite, all this. But this is coming from a man that's from Michigan, and there ain't nothing wrong with that. He grew up in a rich house. His father owned a ton of car dealerships, and he's never had to struggle a day in his life. And yet he props himself up as a Southern good old boy that has lifted himself up from his bootstraps. And he presents himself as something that he's completely not. He's proud to say he's white trash and he's this, he's that, he's a deplorable. And it's like, dude, you are a rich kid from Michigan that had a silver spoon within your mouth. How the hell can you relate to what the average person is struggling with from day to day? How can you relate to the individuals that make you millions, that have to work from paycheck to paycheck? How can you relate to the individuals that don't know where their next meal is going to come from? I'm just saying, dude, you ain't got no fucking clue, man. So do me a favor. Don't talk about being a fucking hypocrite whenever like you're one yourself, man. Okay? And I know some people, they're not going to like me saying this. They're going to say, Chris, like you're judgmental, but this is the God honest truth. Once again, there's a difference between the extremists and there's a difference between the ones that have a head on their shoulders within both of the parties. And this is the thing. Kid Rock, he's one of those fucking far-right extremist fucking nut jobs. Just like fucking Ted Nugent to where nothing you say will ever get through to them because they're stuck in their perspective. And this is the thing. I hope and pray one day that they get their heads out of their asses and they realize that they have wasted so much time with endorsing and with fucking promoting division and hatred and negativity. And Kid Rock, buddy, pal, you talk about how you gone platinum so many times. Guess what? That might have been doubled if you would have just shut the fuck up and not divided your audience. Because guess what? Me, which I will fully admit that I used to be like a diehard Kid Rock fan. But whenever every single opportunity he gets, he's shitting on Democrats. Whenever he used to be one, it just puts a bad taste in my mouth. That's kind of like Trump. And I'm not proud of this fact, but Trump used to be a Democrat. Trump used to be a close personal friend of the Clinton family. I just don't understand it, guys. Which I'm willing to accept people's personal evolution of their perspectives, but at least acknowledge it. Don't pretend that you used to be something that you're not. Just saying, guys. It is what it is. I'm sorry. All right. I know that I'm probably going to turn away some because I got like my 3 fans, which I might turn one away, but it is what it is. So, all right. So that was my reaction to this one. And like my next one, here we go. This is just fucking hilarious because I feel bad for all of like the tofu farters out there. Anyways, Ronnie Jackson. So he's which I don't know whether Ronnie won or not, but he was a House candidate in like the 13th district of Texas. He said, I will never eat one of those fake burgers made in a lab. Eat too many and you'll turn into a socialist Democrat. Real beef for me. What's wrong with burgers made in a lab, buddy? What's wrong with an Impossible Whopper? Not that I'll eat one, but my wife will. Who are you to pass judgment on non-beef eaters? Damn it, they're humans too. So by God, I shun you, sir. I shun you. And by God, I'm a diehard beef eater, and I'm a Democrat. So what does that say? I guess I haven't ate enough. I don't know, but it is what it is. I'm sorry, guys. It's like a silly tweet, but yeah, we're just having fun with this. All right. Okay, so let's see the next one. Holy crap, this is running long. I don't even think which one gets on your Pittsburgh story, but we'll see what we can do. All right. The next tweet, which I'm going to be sticking up for one of the men that inspired me to podcast, and that's Mr. Vince Russo. So this is going to be like my last topic before I go on to my Pittsburgh story. So here we go. Mr. Vince Russo. So this man, hands down, the most successful writer in the history of professional wrestling. The numbers speak for themselves. This is the thing. Even whenever Russo was in TNA, which they got over, which at the height of TNA, he got over, it was 2 million viewers a week with his writing. Nothing AEW has done since they have started their show 3 years ago has even touched 2 million viewers. But yet the majority of these people that want to talk shit are these huge AEW fans that love the flip-flop and fly and all that. And which I support all companies. I do, which I support the WWE, I support AEW, but I do call a spade a spade. The WWE, they're more focused on storytelling, and fucking AEW is more focused on match quality, which you could call me old fashioned, but I'm the type of person to where like the matches are great, but why are you fighting? Why do like the moves mean this way? What is it within like these two characters like that's causing like the conflict to where they're fighting? I want to know what's the purpose of me watching. So yeah. Anyways, apparently there was a wrestler by the name of Mia Yim. She was Jade in like the TNA wrestling. She was Rampage or Renegade or I forgot what the fuck her name was. She was in like the Retribution stable, which was a horrendous failure. I don't know what the hell her name was in that, but anyways, Russo he posted a wonderful comment here, saying, if by any chance you have a casual fan watching this show, they're saying Mia who? She means nothing. Yes, she means absolutely nothing. She means as much as the Sky Sisters, bro. Now, this is the thing, is if you are going to promote, and if you if you want stars on your television, you're gonna have to invest in them. You're gonna have to promote in them, and you can tell the newer fans from the older fans, because like the newer fans, they are so against like the whole thing, like with casual fans. This is the thing, guys. Wrestling's wonderful. Like the and like the AEW, they cater to like their niche group. The WWE, they're great for the most part. But this is the thing, guys. The casual viewers, which if you are able to convince them to tune in, they become diehard viewers. They become continuous viewers. So it's important for you to catch those casuals, because Vince said something like that made a lot of sense, and it really influenced the way he booked. And he said he did like he wants to do the regular fan to do like the channel changing test. Let's say like they're surfing through like their television, and like they're changing channels. What can you put on your show to where somebody stops right on your channel and they get invested in what you're showing? Because guess what? Vince was really good at that. Don't get me wrong. A lot of it people thought was crazy, nuts, and which I get it. But he was great at catching people's attention to where they will stay there. The Attitude Era is a great example. So is TNA. And with World Championship Wrestling, we all swing and miss. But anyways, so like with Mia Yim, which I was watching this live, by the way, she came in. She was the great equalizer for Rhea Ripley, and she attacked her from behind because there's a feud between the OC and like the Judgment Day. Whenever she showed up, because if she had any credibility when it came to being over, then it wouldn't have gone off like a fart in church. There was no crowd reaction at all. And honestly, no one gave a shit. And that's due to, before Mia got fired, with all due respect, they did not really put in much with her character to where the average person gave a shit. Because whatever opportunity you had prior to where you had that casual that like would flip that channel before she showed up months ago, and say, hey, wow, what's this about her? Most of those people just flip through the channel saying, she's your typical generic female wrestler. Why should I give a shit? That's a big reflection here, because guess what? Only diehard fans knew who she was. because like the majority of like the live audience, which a bunch of them are casuals, like their mom and dads that are taking out like their kids, that want to just have like a good time because like their kids, they just have to be like a wrestling fan. So if you want like your mom and dad for them like to get hooked, this isn't the way to do it. So yeah, like the casual fans, regardless of what the modern fans say and feel, guess what? The casual fans matter for growing your audience. AEW is a prime example of being terrible with it because guess what? They have not grown at all with their television ratings within the past 3 years. And they've had such before the thing with Triple H taking over for the creative, they had a golden opportunity to take fans that were fed up with the way Vince McMahon was running things, but they didn't. They completely shit the bed because they decided to continuously cater to their niche built-in audience, which isn't really shit. It's small. You had the opportunity to take a chunk out of the WWE's audience, and you just said, fuck it. Let's cater to New Japan, and let's cater to the internet darlings. So the fans of those, oh yeah, and like the deathmatch fans. Give me a fucking break, guys. You could call me old fashioned, but with all due respect, like to John Moxley, because I'm a fan of his, I think the guy's fantastic. But John, buddy, you don't got to bleed every single match. Make it special when you get busted open. Don't make it as something that has to happen because you're on television. Just saying, because it takes the specialty out of it, especially like with weapons, guys. Because like for me, especially like with the AEW product, whenever like weapons are used now, I don't give a shit because it's nothing special to watch because I see it every single week. So it's gotten to the point to where honestly, which I'll watch highlights, but I won't sit in and watch the full show anymore. And Rampage is just a fucking shit show. It's terrible. So just saying, guys. And that's another great example of me evolving my perspective, because this time a year ago, you guys heard me praising AEW. So just saying, I have the right to evolve my perspective. So let's go to the next. Let's go to the next one, ladies and gentlemen. And so Vince, he's completely right on this. I believe the casual fan is extremely important for the success of businesses, period. You see, for example, like the casual fan knew who Bray Wyatt was. And you see the difference in what that's making within the business of the WWE, because like they brought back Bray Wyatt, because they didn't just bring it back for the diehards, but they brought it back for like the lapsed fan, like the casual that might have tuned out right after he left because they're like, fuck it, there's nothing of interest because there's nothing as unique as Bray Wyatt. So just saying, guys, it makes a lot of sense. So here's some response by a bunch of ignorant dipshits that just completely grind my gears here because they clearly have no clue. Because it's like me, who's played baseball back in high school. Me walking up to let's say Jacob deGrom. A shout out to John. And saying, hey, buddy, you're throwing your curveball all wrong. Jacob deGrom's going to look at me saying, who the fuck do you think you are, dude? So, because, no offense, yes, I can relate on a high school level, but on like a pro level, I'm a fish out of water, man. I ain't got no clue what the hell I'm talking about. So you got all these internet fans that it tickles my fancy, but it pisses me off at the same time. And you're going to see why within a second. So this goes back to like the whole thing with the casual viewers thing, but it's going to get worse. And by the way, every single person that I mentioned, you're more than welcome to come on my show and we can talk and you can tell me why you feel the way you feel and we can have a fun discussion. I am open to every single person that I speak of coming on here to defend themselves. I am an open book like that. So I know some people that are fans of a certain show that gets their go will probably tag these people. Go for it. I'm fine with that. All right. So Mr. Curtis Furnace at Curtis_Furnace was replying to Ringside News and said, "What's this obsession about casual viewers? Stop trying to cater to the casuals and cater to the week in and week out viewers. We're the core audience, and most of us would be well aware of Mia Yim is." That goes back to my point of the channel changing test, where that's great. You know who she is. But if you want your company to succeed and grow and make more money, what are you going to do like with that character to where the average person, the lapsed fan, is going to stop and watch? That's extremely important in business, buddy. That's like me working for Walmart. My job is to make the customer as happy as possible so they don't think twice when it comes to going nowhere else. Someone that normally would shop at Target or shop Dollar General or whatever, every single time like they walk through that door, that's an opportunity for me to show them, hey, this is why you should shop at Walmart. Same concept, guys, but on like a much smaller level. Here we go. And that's the reason why WWE. Okay. So we have IG Easy Mode _casual. He had a great point here and said, and that's the reason why the WWE is under 2 million views now. And that's a good point, because once they brought back Bray Wyatt, you had that initial pop. And SmackDown's doing great, but like Raw, I guess they brought back Lesnar to combat that. I think honestly, the whole thing like with Mia Yim, like the damage control and shit like that. The majority of like the female wrestlers on Raw, I hate to say it, they're not really that appealing like with their storylines right now. Very, very talented ladies, but unfortunately they're given shit material right now. SmackDown is way ahead when it comes to quality and creativity on that. So Mr. Easy Mode Casual had a great point, and Mr. Curtis said, if you cater to the core viewers, you give them enough moments that are enjoyable, then eventually you can turn the casuals into a core base. But not every debut needs a, hey, my name is Mia Yim, and look at what I've done. Actually, yes, it does. Every single debut that you have is supposed to be, hey, look at this person. Holy crap. Look at this person, man. Look at their character. Look at their promo. Look at their entrance. Look at everything. And that makes me want to tune in. And that excites me, because a debut is theoretically meant to help grab someone that otherwise wouldn't necessarily watch. Don't get me wrong. Yes, it's to cater to like the regular fans too, but also like, holy crap, man, did you hear about that debut? And then you got somebody that normally doesn't watch. All right, man, let me go check that out. Bray Wyatt and CM Punk are the two best examples of the past decade, period, of like the debut. I mean, that just brought in people. The WWE, they're somewhat like they're capitalizing on it, but AEW, because of the whole thing like with Punk, the fight, all that bullshit, it completely lost steam. But anyways, all right, so let me have another one. Okay, so like, I'm sorry guys, I'm kind of running long tonight, but I'm just having so much fun because I have so much material. Here we go. Here we go. One of these really pissed me off because of the way that it's said. And I'm going to go off on this person. So, okay. So there was a thing about debut, zero reaction, which I'm fine with that. And Drake Sanchez. So Drake N9. Okay. This is the thing, buddy. You can have your opinion on Russo. You can have your opinion on wrestling. You can have your opinion on anything. And I have no issues with that. But whenever you start to spout utter bullshit, that's when I have a problem, because whenever you accuse somebody of doing something that was directly, that's dangerous and that's completely fabricated, and that's something that really involves somebody that's died that it had nothing to do with, then that's when I get completely pissed off about it. Because once again, which I'm not nearly the supporter of Russo like I used to be, but I am still willing to stick up for him when he needs it and when it matters, because guess what? He's done a lot for me, and I will always be grateful for that. Okay, so there was the thing about like the zero reaction, which I talked about it, and Mr. Drake Sanchez says the guy who killed World Championship Wrestling. Okay, this is the guy on his fact. After the merger with Time Warner, the World Championship Wrestling was basically dead from then on, because the company clearly stated on many occasions that they did not want wrestling on their airwaves. So that's complete bullshit. So no matter whether Russo would have took over, Bischoff would have took over, anybody would have took over, the company still would have gone out of business, because they would not have had a fucking television deal. Please get that through your head. Facts, ladies and gentlemen, facts. And that's not even half of it. So like my next thing is, this is a complete fucking bullshit thing right here, and it pisses me off. And this dipshit, yes, I'm calling you a dipshit, Drake. And once again, you can come on my show. Which I would love for you to defend yourself on this. And this guy is falsely accusing Vince Russo of killing Owen Hart. This is the thing. And it's been debunked. It's been proven. It's been, you name it, done. This is the fact. Owen Hart had the opportunity to state that he was not comfortable with what happened. Did Russo write it like within the script? Yes. But ultimately, everybody fails to acknowledge this, because they don't like to acknowledge it, because this will fuck up their what's it called? Their perspective, and this will fuck up their propaganda on Russo. This will fuck up everything. Oh, like their narrative on Russo. Whenever it came to storylines, who had the final say? Who had the final say on everything before everything went out on television? Because everybody wants to say that Russo didn't do shit on his own, and that he had a filter with Vince McMahon. But wait. When things went great, they said McMahon was the filter and it wasn't fully Russo. And then whenever shit goes downhill, it's Russo by himself, and no one else had nothing to do with it. This is the deal, guys. Whenever it came to Owen Hart, Vince McMahon was the type of person to where if you were extremely uncomfortable with something, especially as something as dangerous as descending from a catwalk, he would understandably say, hey, all right, we'll write something else in. And then he would probably go to Russo, or Russo go to Vince McMahon saying, all right, let's figure something else out. If you guys were to do any fucking research, you would know Russo had nothing to do with this. Vince McMahon had the final say on scripts and everything. Owen Hart could have easily said no. But being the company man that he was, he did it, which is unfortunate what happened. Owen's one of my all-time favorites. I love him to death. My favorite WrestleMania match of all time is from WrestleMania 10, like with him facing Bret Hart. My first ever WrestleMania that I ever rented from Hollywood Video, actually, which I remember this. It was WrestleMania 10. I was living in Baltimore at the time. Me and my dad, we watched it in like the living room that day. I was sick. I was home from school. I wasn't feeling good, and my dad, he got that tape for me, so I remember that. And the thing is once again, back to the whole thing with bullshit narratives. I'm so fed up with it. I'm so disgusted with it that if anybody had any ounce of dignity or self-respect, you would bother to look into it further instead of spewing bullshit. Russo did not kill Owen Hart. Vince McMahon did not kill Owen Hart. A faulty latch that was not meant to hold a man of his weight is what caused the accident that killed Owen Hart. The company that was hired to do all of the the latches, the ropes, you name it, they're the ones, the safety harness companies, they were the ones that wanted to take shortcuts. And Owen trusted that what he was putting on was going to be safe. People wanted to take shortcuts, and that led to a wonderful man dying. And guess what? Russo had no control over that. McMahon had no control over that. And ultimately, like I said, you guys want to play the bullshit card with Russo, and it's his fault. Like I said, with all storylines, not that I'm blaming McMahon, because I'm not. When it came to all storylines, McMahon had the final say on whether it went out on television or not. So for everybody that wants to blame Russo for Owen Hart, can you get a big old glass of go fuck yourself? Because you're clearly drinking the Kool-Aid. You're ignorant, you're narrow-minded, and you're a complete fucking moron. Don't put that on a man that doesn't deserve it. Don't get me wrong. Certain things that Russo has said and done, I scratch my head. But I would never falsely accuse him of saying, hey, man, you killed that person. So, yeah. I'm sorry, guys. I just had to get that right off my chest. This has been a fun show. So, all right. And once again, everybody that I mentioned, you're more than welcome to come on the show if you want to defend yourself. And if you want to defend the fact that you're falsely accusing somebody of killing Owen Hart, by all means, please come on the show and try to explain your side, because I have no clue how the hell you're going to justify it, but I'll be entertained to hear it, because clearly you're out of your fucking mind. Like many Democrats and like many Republicans, you're out of your fucking mind. Anyways, this is the grand finale, guys. I went to Pittsburgh. It was from October 13th through the 18th. And I went up to Pittsburgh. It was me and my wife. We went up there to go see like my best friend, Tim. We stayed with Tim. We stayed with his wife, Shay. And it was just such an enjoyable time. It was a great way for us to reflect and get like a better feel of where like we're going, because like we're going to be moving to Pittsburgh in May. So like my wife, she wanted to get more comfortable and she wanted to get like a better feel for what was going on. So like basically what happened was we went there. We spent time like with Tim, like we spent time with Shay. We had great opportunities to meet, and my nephew Dante, which is Shay and Tim's oldest son, he was having a birthday party. So like we went up there, and that was a great excuse for us to go for like the birthday. So that was just a fantastic time we had. Dante and Dominic, absolutely wonderful, wonderful kids. Like they're truly blessed to have such great parents, and just being able like to stand back and just focus and just soak everything in. God really kind of put something on my heart that just really, really stuck with me, because I was able to see it was which it was Tim's mom and dad, which D and Dwayne, which I haven't seen in years. And like the thing about it is that literally right after before I became a Christian, and right after, they were so sweet to me. And they were like my second parents. Anytime I needed anything, they were there for me, like for love, like for wisdom, for guidance, for fantastic food. Okay. Like her cabbage and noodles is freaking out of this world. I love her to death. I really, really do. And Dwayne, who is the stepdad of Tim, which I didn't realize it while I was down there, while I was up there, but God was laying down a foundation for me to be like a stepdad, and using Dwayne as a vessel, as an example for me to follow, to see and to model myself after it, because it's not easy to take on a kid that's not biologically yours, that's coming from another parent that's not involved. So guys, it's a challenge, and seeing the way Dwayne handled it with Tim, with Mike, with Nick, with Rob, which just with love, with grace, and just being such a wonderful father, and just taking that on when he didn't have to. That showed me that blood doesn't have to be what makes you a dad. It's what you're willing to put in, and what you're willing to recognize as your blessings within your life. Because I know for me that my kids, they're hands down like the greatest blessings in my life. And the fact is if it wasn't for my son being so accepting of me, this family would not exist right now. Because like my wife said, whenever like we first started dating, yes, I like you, but ultimately, which if my son doesn't, then we can't be together. And thankfully things worked out. But just being able to see Dwayne, like, and just hug him and say thank you so much. I had so many emotions saying thank you. Whether you realize it or not, you were the one that laid the foundation for me being like a stepfather. And I will always be grateful for that. You are such a wonderful man. You are a great man of God. You are a great man of character, a great man of integrity. And he took me in as one of his kids. Which guys, which I've been so blessed like within my life, because guess what? Not only did I have a fantastic dad myself, but I also had people like Dwayne that was another father figure for me. And I will always be grateful for that, because I had an overabundance of love and support from other people. And I'm blown away, because there's a lot of people that don't even have one parent that really cares, let alone two like I had. So I'm just saying, guys, I am so blown away and blessed by that. So just being able to see him, like to see Dwayne, uh, just being able to, just sometimes you just got to say thank you. You just got to say thank you to that person's face for the impact that they've really put on your life. And which it's been years since I've seen them, and just that opportunity was so amazing. So I was able to say thank you to him during Dante's birthday party, which was awesome. And just being able to appreciate just talking about family, just being able to appreciate Tim and Shay, and like and just being able to see what they do and like the sacrifices they make, especially when it comes to their kids. I'm going to say this right now, which I love my kids to death, and I spend time with them as much as I can, and so does my wife. But when it comes to Shay and Tim, I can honestly say they are phenomenal parents. They go above and beyond, and those two kids, Dante and Dominic, they couldn't ask for two better parents. They love them to the moon and back, and they involve them in absolutely every aspect when it comes to their lives. And they are the most involved parents that I've ever met. The kids might drive them nuts sometimes, but they are so overly involved and wanting to show love to those kids, and like to make them realize that they're special, that they're wonderful, that they are of God. And it's just amazing. And it was such a blessing for me and my wife, for us to be able to witness that live in living color, baby. So guys, that was awesome right there. We went to downtown Pittsburgh. We went to a really, really good donut shop. Damn it, I'm trying to think of the name of it. Hold on. And they had some phenomenal donuts, guys. Hold on. Hold on. So they had some phenomenal donuts, baby. Okay, let me pull it up. I'm sorry, guys. All right. Come on. It's called Peace, Love, and Little Donuts. And like the cool thing about it is like the donut shop, like literally they have fruity pebble donuts, they have pretzel donuts, they have donuts with bacon on them, they have donuts with pork on it. Well, bacon has pork. They got donuts like with deer meat. I mean, like just whatever you can think of to put on a donut, they'll do it for you. And that's what I love about like the Pittsburgh style, because like the thing is that like my favorite sandwich shop in the whole world, it's called Permane Brothers. And the original sandwich there is just so amazing. It's got coleslaw, meat, French fries, you name it on there. And it's just the thing about Pittsburgh is I love the area, the style, the people, just everything about it. It's unique to itself. I tell people all the time that want to say, what city would you be able to compare it to? And which I tell them, I can't make a comparison because there's no place like it. And I just absolutely love it. And I feel like that's home for me. It fits like a glove. I'm always happy there. I'm always joyful. I will always be grateful for the fact that God let me live there for the time that he did, and which I'm grateful that for the opportunities that we're about to have, like we're going back up there. So I'm excited. I really, really am. And I also had the opportunity to meet well, not to meet, but like to see someone that else that had a huge impact on me. There were three men like within my life that helped lead me to Christ. It was Tim, it was John Moores, like my former youth pastor, and a gentleman by the name of Kevin Smith. And if it wasn't for those three men doing what they did, taking time out to invest in me and to give a shit and to care, I don't think that I'd be here right now. They helped to lead me to making the greatest decision that I've ever made in my life, which laid the foundation down for everything else. And that was for me to give my life to Jesus Christ. And I went to church with Tim on that Sunday, which the church, it's called Mosaic, and it's located in Imperial, PA. I'll give him a shout out. And Kevin Smith, he's the bookkeeper there. And I was so unbelievably excited to see him because it's been years. I think it's been 13 years since I've seen him last. And I gave him a giant hug. I was crying. And once again, this was a trip to remind me of my past. So when I get to my future, that I'll be more grateful to be within like the present of where I'm going to be at. And basically I gave Kevin like a huge hug. I said, Kevin, I love you. And I just want to say this from the bottom of my heart. If it wasn't for you partially, I would not be where I'm at right now. And I just want to say thank you so much because you helped lead me to Jesus Christ. You took time out of your life to spend time with me, and you gave a shit, you cared, and you invested in me greatly. And I just want to say it made all the difference in the world. And there's this time where I learned to greatly respect authority, and I remember what it is. I was on a thing called Work Crew, which was at a local youth camp called Surf City, which we had like a youth camp. It was in Michigan, right off of Lake Michigan, actually. And a Work Crew is basically students that work behind the scenes to like build stages, like to help like with dishes, like to help with food, like to help set things up. That way, like the pastors, they can do their job, like with helping like to change lives for the better with the kids. So I was running myself ragged so much because I was so motivated and so excited that I became dehydrated. And Kevin was my leader, and it was to the point to where I just got so into it that he forced me to go take a nap. He forced me to stop. And he said, Chris, I get it. You're excited, you're motivated, and like you're wanting to change people's lives for the better through your work. But this is the thing that you got to realize, that if you're dehydrated and you are out of commission, what good are you going forward? And he made a great point because I slowed down and I realized sometimes even when you're fired up and even when like you're doing like a wonderful thing, sometimes you need to take a break and remove yourself to recharge your batteries. That way, once you do, you can be even more impactful. So it's okay to step aside and do it. And the love he showed me through that was just absolutely amazing. The grace he showed me, everything, the leadership he showed me, it made a huge impact on me because I still use it. Like the lessons he taught me, not only through like the youth camps, but through like youth group, which I use to this day with like my family, with work, with everything. And it means the complete world to me. Hey there, man. Hey, okay. So, like the Raving Ninja's here. What's going on, my friend? I hope and pray that you're doing all right tonight. He says that it's always good whenever like you're pulling the onion back. Oh yeah, man. Which I feel like the more vulnerable we are, like the more the more people we could potentially help. So I think it's extremely important. And the thing is that for me, I really thank him for that, because he showed me love, he showed me grace, he showed me leadership, and it's something that's always made a huge impact on me. And just being able to thank him so many years later, because it stuck with me so deeply, it meant the world to me. And the man that I greatly admire as well, which is John Moores, like my former youth pastor, which I haven't seen him in years, but the last time I was with him, we were at a youth camp. It was in Ohio. And this was right after, either before or right after I met my wife. And he made such a great impact on me that I was working hard. I was busting my butt on the camp, and I was just so humbled to where that I said, John, do you think that I can do something for you really quick, just to show you my appreciation? And for the people that are believers, you know why I did this. But for like the ones that are not believers, you're going to think I'm weird, but I'm going to explain it. I had the opportunity to wash the feet of the man that helped lead me to Christ. And that's one of the ways that you can, within like the biblical days, the disciples would wash the feet of Jesus just to say thank you for working so hard to help us. Thank you so much for doing what you do, because you are on your feet all day, but like you're walking towards a purpose, like you're walking towards changing lives. And so like the disciples would wash the feet of Jesus, and Jesus would do the same for them and show the same love and like the same appreciation, saying, hey guys, yes, I do what I do, but I couldn't do it without you. And so I had the privilege of washing like my pastor's feet and to say thank you, and which I was brought to tears, because I can't say this enough. And I hope and pray for like the non-believers out there. If you've gotten this far with like the podcast without being turned off with like the Russo rants, like the politics and shit like that, please, this is the most serious thing that I'm going to say the whole podcast, because this is more important than the politics. This is more important than anything. If you come across someone that has made a huge impact on your life, don't hesitate to take the opportunity to thank them and to show them why they mean so much to you, because life is short, life is precious, life is not guaranteed for tomorrow. I'm not guaranteed tomorrow. You're not guaranteed tomorrow. Guess what? I could be hit by a bus walking to work tomorrow. I could not wake up tomorrow. I mean, I don't know this. It's the fact you need to show that love to the ones that have shown you love the most. Because guess what? They might not know it, and they might feel like, well, I've invested within like that time, like within them, but I don't know really whether I've had that huge impact on them. Guess what? Let them know that. Let them know they're beautiful. Let them know they're wonderful. Let them know what they've done has helped you become the person that you are. And Tim Giuliani, Kevin Smith, and John Morris, they were the three men. I'm sorry, guys, I'm getting emotional here. That helped me make the greatest decision of my life, which was giving my life to Jesus Christ. I've still had my struggles. I've still had my addiction. I've still had all that stuff going forward. I did, guys. And that's been well documented. But there's not a day that goes by that I don't regret. Wait about. Sorry. There's not a day that goes by that I have a regret at all when it comes to giving my life to Jesus Christ. He's the one that has laid the foundation for the rest of my life when it comes to my wife, my kids, my job, everything. And it's all because those three men decided to step up and invest in me and love me. If you have that opportunity to make that impact on somebody tonight, today, tomorrow, it doesn't matter. Please do it. If you know there's people out there that look up to you and that admire you greatly, and you know you have that influence on them, and you can change your life for the better, do it. Whether you are a Christian, a Muslim, an atheist, it doesn't matter. Please, hear me, guys. Like I said, everything else, if you get offended by the whole thing, like the politics, Russo, whatever, it is what it is. But this is what truly matters the most. We need to love each other. We need to respect each other. We need to remind one another that we're all in this together, guys. It doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on. It doesn't matter your beliefs. We're humans, guys. We're a family, whether we choose to acknowledge it or not. We might be a massive dysfunctional family, but we're a family nonetheless. Let that sink in. These little minute differences we're letting destroy so many beautiful potential relationships we could be having with each other. Don't get me wrong. Certain things aggravate the piss out of me, and you guys saw this earlier. But those things which I need to work on, because I'm human, I'm not perfect. But this trip to Pittsburgh, it meant that much to me because all this came full circle for me. And I saw a vision of a bridge. It's kind of ironic, especially considering the bridge capital of the whole world is Pittsburgh. God put a bridge on my heart and said that you can't get to your future without going back to your past while you are in the present. And I wouldn't be so appreciative of Pittsburgh. I wouldn't be so appreciative of my wife. I wouldn't be so appreciative of my kids, my job, everything, if it wasn't for those three men and Dwayne. I'm sorry, I don't mean like to cut Dwayne out. If it wasn't for them men that invested in me, that led me down the path to where I am now. Don't get me wrong, my brother Anthony, big influence like with me growing up. He helped raise me. My dad, all that stuff. But my dad wasn't a spiritual man. He laid the foundation for me when it came to work ethic and unconditional love and working hard. Harder even with your disabilities, and respecting and so many other things he did. But spiritually, like, my dad was lacking because he wasn't a believer. But it's okay. He still taught me many, many things. But God put all these people like within my life so I could set that foundation. And it just blows me away. And we were just going up there just for like a birthday party, just so like my wife, she can get like a better feel for where like we're going to be at, everything. I mean, it's just amazing how God just does that. He's like, well, you got these plans and it's wonderful, but I'm going to stack this on top of it too. That way you could be even more appreciative of the next time you're here. So, guys, it was an absolutely phenomenal trip. I'm so proud to call that home. You guys are thinking, well, Chris, you live in Myrtle Beach, you live in South Carolina. Do you call this home? No, this is just a temporary residence for me. I don't really consider this home. I see this as a place that led me to my wife, that led me to my kids, and that's about it. So it's time for me to go to where like we're meant to be. All right, hold on. I got some comments here. All right, so let them know what hard times are, Daddy. Hard times are when the textile workers around this country are out of a job, or they got 4 or 5 kids and can't pay their wages. They can't buy their food. Hard times are when the auto workers are out of work and they can't, and they tell them to go home. They give them the boot. And hard times is when a man has worked the job for 30 years, and gives him a watch, kicks him in the butt, and says, "Hey, a computer took your place, Daddy." That's hard times. That is hands down the greatest promo of all time. I absolutely love it. That brings such a big smile to my face. Thank you so much. But like I said, it's amazing how God lets you go to certain places so you can really feel and get like a great feel for your purpose, and like to remind you of the people that helped get you to where you're at. All right. So what are my thoughts on Scientology? All right. I hope Mr. Tom Cruise isn't watching this. But I feel like this with Scientology, once again, everybody, they're entitled to believe what they want, and I respect that. But it doesn't mean that I have to agree with it. Scientology is a massive scam. It's a borderline cult, and it's basically a whole organization. It's not a religion. I'm sorry, but it's a tax shelter for rich people. It's a borderline cult, and it just boggles my mind how so many people, I mean, don't get me wrong, which I worship a Jewish hippie that got nailed to a cross. I know some people think what I believe is nuts, but how the hell with a straight face can you say that a science fiction writer who created your religion, he has all the answers? I'm sorry. I think it's a huge scam. There's some Scientologists out there that are going to take offense to this, and I'm sorry. You have the right to believe what you want, but any true faith won't charge you to participate. And I know some people are like, well, wait a second, Chris, what about tithing? Nowhere within the Bible it doesn't state that you have to tithe, by the way. That is a man-made construct, which it's suggested to help fund the church, but ultimately it's not required. So there's a difference. With Scientology, you're required to pay to advance. Just saying, there's a difference between my faith and that religion. And the same goes for other groups. Don't get me started on Catholics. Anyways, which I respect people's decision to worship the way they want. Don't get me wrong. I'm cool with that. But I don't have to agree with it. So it is what it is. Damn it. Mr. Cruz has left the stream. Shit. So guys, with that said, holy crap, I've doubled my time tonight. 2 hours, baby, the 2 hour of power. So I'm going to pray. I'm going to get out of here and just relax. So here we go. Dear God, thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for the privilege for bringing us together tonight. For the individuals that showed up live, baby, live, like the Raving Ninja, and the people that's going to show up after this is recorded, I say thank you. and that I pray that the words that I say will have an impact on them, whether it's something that's going to make them think, something that's going to make them angry, something that's just going to make them feel. Lord, I just want them to feel. And I want them to potentially, whether it's hate, whether it's happiness, whether it's a motivation, it doesn't matter, Lord. I pray that it stirs something up within these individuals to where they want to take action on something that they're passionate about, whether it's something they agree with me or they disagree with me. Because ultimately, like I said, God, you have made it to where every single day is a blessing and not a guarantee. We're not promised tomorrow. Like the fact we're breathing right now, that's a miracle within itself. So God, I say thank you for that. God, I say thank you for my wife. I say thank you for my kids. I say thank you for my job, my family, every single person that you've put in my life that has laid the foundation to create the person that I am now. I say thank you. Imperfections, cracks and all, God. You laid that foundation for me to walk. There's times that I have not walked a straight line because I was too prideful and stupid and ignorant and angry. But there's times that I walked it perfectly because I did exactly what you expected of me. But Lord, it's both times, the good and the bad, the happy, the sad, the glad, the mad, whatever you want to call it, that you have led me to become the person that I am. I say thank you. And I pray every single person out there that you're able to see what your value is. You're beautiful. You're wonderful. You are created by divine design. God has an amazing purpose for your life. Seek it today. Don't seek it tomorrow. Don't put it off. Don't be lazy. Don't procrastinate, because guess what? You're not promised tomorrow, guys. So if you got that trumpet that you want to play loud and proud, loud and clear, and to let people hear what you got to say, do it today. Don't wait. But with that said, guys, I say thank you. Lord, thank you for the audience, whether it's one person, whether it's 100, whether it's 5,500, it doesn't matter. Lord, I pray that my message gets through to somebody, because ultimately you're the one we serve. For the ones that know this, for the ones that have yet to know this, I pray for everybody, Lord, that you impact their lives in some way, shape, or form. Thank you. And I say thank you for your son, Jesus, for sacrificing on the cross for me and for every single person out there, because I know that if I was the only one that existed, Jesus would still do it for me. Left in existence, Jesus would still sacrifice for me. Not necessarily on a cross, but he would sacrifice for me nonetheless. So, Lord, thank you. Thank you for your son, and thank you for this time. Amen. All right, so here we go. Especially looking at the landscape of pro wrestling, looking at the landscape, where are we now? Did you enjoy Crown Jewel? Yes, I did, actually. I thought the pay-per-view was fantastic. I thought Logan Paul did a phenomenal job. He showed up. The man is a star. I hate to say it, but Logan Paul is more over than 90% of the AEW roster. And the guy's only had, I think 3 matches. He's a star. He's a future world champion, and I pray for his continuous success. I thought the match between my main man, Karrion Kross, versus Drew McIntyre, the steel cage match, was very, very well done. Great story. I thought the Lesnar Bobby Lashley match was extremely wonky. Shitty finish. I was not a fan of it. But it was a fun match regardless, even if the finish sucked. The thing with Damage Control and all that crap, I honestly didn't give a shit. Guys, I hate saying this, like with like modern women's wrestling, because unless you have Ronda or Charlotte or someone that's believable to me, I don't really care to watch it. God, that's mean for me to say. I'm sorry. But most women's wrestling, I don't care. So, like I said, Charlotte, she's awesome. The best in the world. So I know like there's some people they're gonna say, it's bullshit. No, find me a women's wrestler better and more polished than Charlotte Flair. You're not going to, hands down. Here's Charlotte, here's everybody else. So I say Charlotte's the best in the world. So until someone can knock her off her pedestal, she is truly still the queen of wrestling. So but yeah, like the Crown Jewel show was fantastic. For the most part, I thought like the match like with the Usos was great, and I feel like right now the hottest wrestler in the whole world right now, as in terms of like his character work, is Sami Zayn. This man, every single thing that he touches, it turns to gold. And he's reminded me of a young Mick Foley. So I absolutely love it. Like the Bloodline storyline's great. Bray Wyatt with the Uncle Howdy thing, I love it. I think that it's going to do it. The WWE, they're firing on all cylinders right now. I could really honestly say that. With a few bumps in the road, I'm sorry, which I'll take that back. With a few bumps like with Raw, I think Raw certain things they can work on, but ultimately like their product is way ahead of what AEW is doing. So that's my comment on that. So guys, I just want to say thank you so much. I do appreciate the fact that you're taking time out of your lives to listen to what this crazy stuttering fool's got to say. So I just want to say thank you. I'm gonna lay down. Thank you. God bless you. And I'm going to be okay. Here we go. Really good. Bloodline has been smashing it for so long. Things not perfect, but nice to see a few things getting a chance to be redone that were clearly scrapped or botched. Don't get me started on the Theory thing, because that guy, he was not even qualified to win the Money in the Bank. The guy literally cashed in on the U.S. title. That's one of my points about Raw, with where they're doing great. 98% of it's great, but like that small little things, like for like the Theory thing was botched in my opinion. Did he deserve the money? Like the briefcase? Hell no, he didn't. So I get why they did it. That and the Baron Corbin new wrestling god thing, it's absolute garbage. But other than that, I think they're doing all right. Hold on. The women's wrestling, the Baron Corbin thing, in Theory, I thought, yeah. Does that make me hate him more? So if you're talking about Baron Corbin, I can honestly say that he can do good without JBL. I think that he was a fantastic heel character. I thought, and I know this is not going to be like a popular view, but I feel like whenever he was doing the Constable Corbin gimmick, he was fantastic. He was a very hateable heel, and I think that he was one of the best heels in the business. But unfortunately, they're doing so many character changes with him right now that it's just like you want to get invested, but what's he going to be 3 months from now? So I just think it's not a great look for him. So no, which I don't hate him. It's just his current gimmick sucks. He can talk for himself. He doesn't need a mouthpiece like with JBL, which I love. JBL, legend, but yeah. So all right, guys, I'm out of here, which I hope and pray that you guys have a wonderful night. I'm going to lay down, and which I should be on which I'll be back on within the next couple of days. What do I think about JD from New York promoting drinking and driving on his podcast? Which I have not seen the clip. But this is the deal. Anytime you want to promote something like that, You are that's a recipe for disaster. It's extremely irresponsible, and I hope he was joking or it was part of a skit or something. I don't know. I really don't watch this stuff because I know that he seemingly starts arguments with everybody. I don't know. Maybe that's just stick. Maybe that's his gimmick. I don't know. He's a talented guy, but ultimately, if that was the case, like with the drinking and driving and all that, it's like, dude, come on, man. If you were serious, dude, come on. My mom was killed by a drunk driver, so I really take that to heart. I take that as fucked up if you were being serious. So that's what I say about it. Is there anything wrong with being on the bottom right in a podcast? Well, whatever floats your boat. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. And if you're happy and you know it and you're on the bottom right, then good for you. I ain't here to judge. I have no clue what the hell that reference means. Durban was supposed to explain it to me, but he said, which is kind of like a inside joke, but I have no idea what that means. But whatever floats your boat. So it is what it is. All right, guys. I'm out of here. Love you. I'll be back in a couple days. And thank you for joining me tonight on Baptized Fire, baby. Peace.